After 6 bad churches, my parents decided that in order to gain more retirement, they would leave Alaska. However, the first 15 years of my life, I lived in Alaska, Palmer, but shopping included Anchorage and Wasilla, sometimes Willow. My parents liked going to the Willow Church, and most of the people we knew from the 2000s have recently died. But it was a lovely place, and nature and hunting was great there. It was just very socially isolating. And being a woman, a fundamentalist, extremist Christian, not that you can't even be a Christian at 15, because you can't. You're not an adult. I was so isolated, and then put white supremacist homeschooling curriculum. I was being bombarded from every side with white privilege, gender expectations, queer language and queer history, queer anything was never discussed. And I think it was very damaging to my psyche. Luckily, I wasn't queer, and let me explain. I would have compounded trauma if I had grown up as anything but cis and straight. Luckily, I fit into the easiest, most welcomed, accepted groups. Luckily, I was straight and cis, because it would have been 4 times as hard to grow up isolated in white privilege and sexist and heterophobic, well, more homophobic, but more heteronormative worshipped culture. So it made it easier to be straight and cis. And there's nothing wrong with being queer. I would say my trauma would be greatly increased if I hadn't been straight or cis. I guess that's one thing that made it easier without even realizing it. And looking back now, I didn't learn anything but heteronormative agenda. My own siblings hid homophobia and anything queer from me. I didn't grow up reading books that had queer characters. I didn't grow up reading any characters that were witches either. I was around 17 when I first saw something having to do with the queer community, even though I had no clue what that was. And having grown up in that environment, it did gross me out, only because I had been programmed to view it that way. If I'd grown up in a secular household, a secular, inclusive household, it would not have been a big deal. And my reaction, it kind of disturbs me, especially now that I'm a queer ally, which isn't something accepted in my community.